Creativity in the times of pandemic. After the initial despair, uncertainty, and panic, when it was realized that this was going to be the new normal for some time, creativity played a very important and a seminal role. For many artists who were homebound and who in solitude were always creating their works, were now given a different opportunity. And this is where we have many curators, many gallerists coming up with creative ideas, and that is how the online camps came into being. I speak particularly of Hina Bhatt, a Pune-based artist, and her enterprise, Hina Bhatt Art Ventures, who along with her consultant curator Vasant Rao, decided to have these online camps by selecting artists from different parts of the country and holding it at different periods in time so that the artists would be creatively engaged and also productively working towards in executing their new ideas. It was also felt that art historians should also be brought in order to give some background of the development of modernity in India, because not much awareness of the history of modernity is there, and so it was decided that an art historian should be brought in. And that is how I came in. I am Ashrafi S. Bhagat, art historian, art critic, and an independent curator. I was also the former head and associate professor at the Department of Fine Arts, Stella Maris College, Chennai. This aspect of online camp has helped many artists considerably. And this particular camp of artists from Bengal and Northeast similarly will also create an awareness of their works and their ideas, their approaches in making and conceptualizing their art. So it becomes important to talk about the development of modernity, which though initially beginning in the south in the works of Raja Ravi Verma, we find that at the turn of the 20th century, Raja Ravi Verma was completely marginalized as a new nationalist cause in art as well as in politics came up. And Ravi Verma, who though painted with themes from Sanskrit literature, poetry, and the epics, with women from his own ethnic places and from across the country, somehow using an academic realistic style as well as oil painting, it was considered to be not very much part of the nationalist art thinking, and hence Ravi Verma suddenly went into oblivion at the turn of the century. Bengal became a very important cultural center at the turn of the century. It was already producing art from mid 19th century, but it became a cultural center when intellectual ferment, political reactions, and artistic creativity and many other creative reactions began to take place against the colonizers. And it was here in Bengal that the Swadeshi art movement started when the colonizers wanted to divide Bengal in 1905, and that is when the Swadeshi art movement came into being. So where does Bengal's modernity begin? The modernity of Bengal actually begins with the establishment of the Calcutta School of Art in 1854. It was this school which became pivotal in shaping of the art language in the 19th century as well as at the turn of the century in this region. Also, it became a very important cultural center where there was a cultural interface and symbiosis of the art of the East as well as the West during this period in the 19th century. And more importantly, Calcutta became a catalytic force which shaped the intellectual and the artistic activities of this region. Politically also, this period was equally significant. The tensions between the colonizers and the colonial were beginning to surface, which resulted rather in the fiery 1857 Sepoy Mutiny. After this mutiny, the idea of nationalism came in very strongly, and now people began to speak up and speak out very boldly. Bengal had always been at the confluence of various culture. For almost 500 years, it was under the Islamic rule, and here Persian influence was manifest in art, architecture, food, and clothes. And then in the 18th century came the European experience. These various influences, along with the local sensibilities, was to fashion a new cultural creativity in Bengal. The founding of the school